Well, the COP26 climate summit is shifting focus to the world's cities. Discussions will include how cities and towns can bring down emissions while preparing for extreme weather. More than 55% of the global population lives in urban areas. Now, that figure is expected to rise to 68% by 2050. Most of the growth is expected in Africa and Asia. And with average global temperatures rising, cities are also heating up, and it's putting a strain on resources such as water, power, and transport networks. There are only 2 days left to make or break talks in Glasgow. Negotiations are heating up as delegations dig in on their demands. Some delegates worry that talks could go overtime into Saturday.
The developed countries haven't met their pledges in terms of the 100 billion annual financing for developing and vulnerable countries. I think this is problematic. The developed countries need to do more in terms of financing, but it's not just about money. It's also about technology transfer and helping other countries to go down low carbon pathways.
Laura Megan Isherwood joins us live from Glasgow. Laura, what have we learned about how cities are leading the way to tackling rising temperatures?
Well, a lot of cities, the leaders in those areas, in those urban areas where, as you've said, the majority of people do actually live, and they are areas that are continuing to grow across Africa and Asia, are trying their best to try to come up with some sort of town planning schemes and other sort of projects in their own cities that can help reduce the carbon emissions and other greenhouse gases that are emitted from them. Now, there is a C40 cities network. We spoke to the chair this year for that, which is the Mayor of London, Sadiq Khan, last week, and he told CNA that London is really leading the way on this. They're producing more electric buses, for instance, than they ever have before, ensuring that the infrastructure is there for transport people that are using electric vehicles to actually tap into and use effectively. But it doesn't just stop there with cars. It's also to do with buildings, how people ensure that those that are constructed actually have enough insulation and prevent wastage, particularly when it comes to heating homes. The government in the UK is also really pushing forward, offering families £5,000 per household if they want to move away from using the traditional gas boiler, for instance, which is obviously a fossil fuel to heat their homes, towards using more renewable energy, so the like of air to heat source pumps, taking energy from the air that occurs naturally and transferring that into heat, into water that then can heat those homes more effectively and more greenly. And that network of 40 cities around the world, including Singapore, is really pushing forward on that. They have all committed themselves to try to keep below that 1.5 degree target global temperature rise, submitting plans for their carbon emissions that would fit within it. And that is going to be really important in trying to ensure that the world does remain below that really critical temperature.
Now, we've had that surprise deal between the US and China. Is that boosting hopes at all that an agreement will be reached before the summit ends tomorrow?
Well, it seems as though that announcement came as a bit of a surprise for some nations that are here at this summit, nearly 200 of them that are now around the negotiating table, using this last 48 hours, hopefully, to try and really pin down commitments from each of those nations that will fit in with that draft document that was submitted by the UK COP26 presidency yesterday. Now, of course, we're waiting for a lot of detail here. We have heard rumours that actually these negotiations could run over time. But of course, this decision by the US and China to work together to, again, stay beneath that 1.5 degree global temperature rise target will be really important in that. China has been criticised for not sending its leader, President Xi Jinping, here to offer up his presence, I suppose, and his opinions. And so now the US announcing this will be a big boost for negotiators and should add a massive lift to those carbon targets that they'll be talking about for the rest of the time here.
Many thanks, Laura Megan Isherwood there in Glasgow.